Tonight, police make their first arrest over Monday's riot outside a Sydney church, while the brave priest who was stabbed inside heads home.
The Bondi Junction shopping centre to reopen with a reflection day for tributes to victims.
More long-range missiles, ships and drones, the multi-billion-dollar boost to Australia's defence budget.
100 days to go. What our Olympians will be wearing in Paris while the flame sets off from where it all began.
And the Knights determined to lift for their skipper as he recovers from injury.
This is NBN News with Gavin and Natasha Beyersdorf.
Good evening. The priest stabbed in an alleged terror attack at a Sydney church has been released from hospital, while the bishop remains in recovery.
Police have just made their first arrest over the riot which unleashed chaos moments after the incident, injuring officers and damaging patrol cars.
Priest Isaac Royal discharged from hospital with knife wounds to his shoulder and hands, welcomed home by a devoted neighbour. The injuries were suffered when he wrestled the 16-year-old accused attacker off Bishop Murray Emanuel. The church leader is now in a stable condition in hospital after being stabbed 6 times. The church has a congregation of 200 to 300, but there was a police estimate of 600 involved in the violence.
We believe that people not associated with the church have turned up as an excuse and become a riot.
The teenager accused of the attack remains in hospital under police guard. His parents today left the family home. On the night of the attack, his father was so scared of going home, he sheltered at the Lakemba Mosque under the care of Jamal Kahir of the Lebanese Muslim Association.
Force to be reckoned with on the water, but the Police Marine Area Command now has an even bigger role to play. It's helping teens from difficult backgrounds secure boat licences in a new program designed to build trust.
Ready to take a leap of faith.
When you jump in, I want you to jump in like this. Michael, any safety jump.
Police leading by example at Belmont Baths in a program that's...
2 teenagers have been charged following an armed robbery in Coraki on Monday afternoon. Police responded around 3 p.m. to reports an SUV was stolen from a Queen Elizabeth Drive home. They later got a call that a takeaway shop on the same street was being held up by youths with a machete and crowbar. Police arrested 2 16-year-old boys. They were refused bail to face Lismore Children's Court next week.
Marine Rescue has saved a man after his boat capsized at the Brunswick Bar this morning. Volunteers pulled him from the water, finding him shaken but uninjured.
There was a strong swell on the bar. The waves were breaking around 100 metres off the bar on a run-out tide, making it quite dangerous.
Boaties are reminded to check the conditions before setting sail.
Protesters rallied at Wallam Estate in Brunswick Heads today after Byron Council approved the development of 123 residential lots for Torquay Road. Locals locked themselves to a tractor while others climbed trees.
We need, people power at this point. We're ready to do anything to save Wallam.
Officers made several arrests and investigations are continuing. Developer Clarence Properties says it's working with police to address illegal activity.
Charity group Social Futures is challenging real estate agents and landlords to give new renters a fair go. This Youth Homelessness Matters Day. It says demand for housing is high and prices are rising, meaning young people are struggling more than ever.
Emma Jacobson was just 18 when her mum died of heart disease.
We were just 2 peas in a pod. She was like my therapist, my best friend. She was everything. It was just the worst part of my life.
Her sudden passing 2 years ago, leaving Emma and her siblings homeless.
The landlord said, if we want to stay there, we've got to pay about $950. None of us had that.
Housing support group Social Futures took Emma in and gave her a place to call home. Now, on Youth Homelessness Matters Day, they're calling on landlords to give young renters a chance to break into the market.
They are disadvantaged due to their age, their income and their lack of rental history.
The region's homelessness crisis has only deepened due to major housing shortages and soaring property prices. Rental vacancy rates in the Richmond Tweed area rose to 1.08% in March, climbing up by 0.19 percentage points over the last quarter. A highly competitive rental market, houses average $750 a week and apartments nearly $600.
A healthy vacancy rate is normally around the 3% mark, so we're a third of that.
Experts say surging rental costs in the region are to blame for new home buyers being priced out of the market.
When it comes to buy, we're still seeing very high levels of competition, which means that prices are continuing to rise.
In Ballina, the average house costs $940,000. In the Tweed, $950,000. Byron sees homes going for nearly $1.5 million. And the average house in Lismore costs $500,000. As for Emma, she gets the keys to her own apartment next week.
So for the next 5 years, I just want to save up as much as I can, get a great rental history.
Andrew Dew, NBN News.
Major upgrades have started on Bayshore Drive at the Byron Arts and Industry Estate. More parking will be added along the 400-metre stretch from Grevillers Street to Centennial Circuit, as well as a new bus stop. The project is said to be completed by August.
The University of New England has published a paper educating locals about red imported fire ants and efforts to control the pest. The insects were detected in New South Wales for the first time in November in southern Murwillumbah, then in Wardell near Byron Bay in January.
They don't just sting you once, they sting you multiple times, and they send a signal to nearby ants to also come and sting their victim, which might be you, and their stings are incredibly painful.
The pests can fly up to 5 kilometres and float on waterways by linking their bodies together to form floating rafts. Very warm again right across the region throughout today. This Wednesday reaching the high 20s with a couple of isolated showers about.
Still ahead in NBN News, pedophile priest Graham Lawrence out of jail. The powerful response from his victim.
But next, Australia's new defence strategy revealed amid a grim risk assessment.
And we're live to Olympia as the Flame begins its journey to Paris. Australia's defence spending will be increased by more than $5 billion. Years worth of rain in a day. A once-in-a-generation storm leaves parts of Dubai underwater.
The young hunter cancer patient and her charity making a difference for sick kids.
And the last thing you'd expect to see on a US street. He was once a revered member of the Anglican Church, but he had a dark and sinister secret.
Graham Lawrence raped a 15-year-old boy back in 1991 while Dean of Newcastle, a crime which eventually saw him jailed.
But now he's been released, much to the pain of his victim, and our cameras were there as he resumes life at home.
140.4, which was described by some analysts as a poleaxing.
The Knights are rallying behind Kalyn Ponga, vowing to take pressure off their skipper as he continues to recover from a hip injury. Ponga has been named to play the Bulldogs on Sunday as Newcastle chases its third win of the season.
Reeling comebacks in the Champions League.
He lied about mechanical.
LeBron James remains in the hunt for a fifth NBA championship after helping the Lakers defeat the New Orleans Pelicans. Final big event on the surf sport calendar is here. The Surf Life Saving Champs getting underway today, headlined by Ali Day chasing his fourth Aussies title.
You can't afford to just be complacent and play it safe. You got to go after it, I believe.
Quarterfinals commence tomorrow. A Lismore racer is getting set for the East Coast Grand National. Tanya Smith will face tough competition in Queensland in the Super Sedans class.
She won the event back in 2010 and now Tanya Smith is back for business on the track.
We've been working on some different things with the car.
Bombshell, the Jets have been firing, showing strike power of their own.
Racing the Blue Ribbon event at Lismore Showground on Saturday. Smith will suit up in the Super Sedans over a series of heat qualifiers and a feature.
We've got some 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids that are just doing amazing. They've pretty much dominated everywhere we've gone this year.
With support divisions across production sedans, mod lights and junior Formula 500s, the best driving talent will travel from across the country.
And we've got guys coming from Toowoomba, Bundaberg, Brisbane, Terranora.
Competing since the age of 17, the Lismore local remains impressed with the calibre of competition in her class, now hoping to draw on home track advantage to get her over the line.
I know the Lismore track very well, and if I'm confident, then I'll be able to drive my car to its maximum capability.
The event comes as Lismore Speedway's last promoter, David Lander, was recently inducted into the Australian Speedway Hall of Fame.
So I've known David for probably a good 20-25 years. So well-deserved accolade for David.
All the racing gets underway from 4:30 p.m. Saturday. Alexandra Rees, NBN News.
There's a big weekend of rugby coming up with the Coffs Coast Challenge coinciding with a local derby. The event designed to capture the hearts of a new generation.
Little footy enthusiasts will have plenty of opportunities to find a new passion or refine their skills on the field this weekend. Nearly 300 are expected to take part in the annual Rugby Challenge with a twist.
Up for grabs.
Both sides looking to bounce back from an early stump.
New combination. Areas, and it was a bit clunky at times, but the bones were there, and we're really excited to put it out on field this weekend.
The challenge kicks off at 10 a.m. on Saturday at the stadium. The first local clash at Rugby Park is at 9:30, with first grade at 3:15.
This just strong across the park, and take our opportunities when they come.
Britt Ramsey, NBN News.
Wow, a bit on.
Thank you, Soph.
Plenty, all right, thank you so much. So plenty going on with the weather as well. Very warm conditions locally, but there are changes ahead. Details next. Well, it certainly has been somewhat warm. Here we are in the middle of April and storms across New South Wales, and that threat moving in towards us just a little bit closer each day. Let's check out another fabulous shot. Alto cumulus cloud in the morning inland. If you see this around that 9-10 a.m. Part of the day, there's a good chance that will help with overdevelopment in the afternoon to help trigger storms because moisture trapped in the affecting parts of the mid-north coast. So the potential for these storms to be damage causing. So don't underestimate the energy there. That trough line trying to flare up a little bit to the north, but that has been the main cluster and it's the main weather feature apart from this front that's headed for Tassie tonight. So that will be sweeping over Tassie tomorrow. 2 days, and Adelaide's been consistent along with the Alice, and Perth over 30 and dry again for another day. We almost hit 30, 28 again was afternoon showers and storms over the northern New South Wales ranges along the coast. We've seen temperatures storms over the northern New South Wales ranges along the coast. We've seen temperatures hit 27 degrees around the Tweed, Byron, Ballina, down to Yamba, so 25 to 27 the theme today. Morning offshores for another morning. Very warm northwesterly winds, so warm again a nor'easter comes in, and there's that southerly coming through tomorrow night. So the collision is going to occur. We've got the heat, we've got some moisture, and likely to see some storm cells reach us as we move towards the end of the day and tomorrow night. So therefore, we've got our storm icons in there. Great morning again on the way. Lovely, comfortable conditions. Then warming into the mid to high 20s, cloud building, and the light move into the evening or the late night period. Swell at about a metre and a half throughout tomorrow. So a little bit of sun up 6:06, down 5:26. The morning high tide 4:30. So we'll be hitting the low tomorrow after 11, well after 11, 4:25. The swell still a metre and a half, plenty of it out of the east. Wave period below 10 seconds. So showers and storms building throughout tomorrow, easing for a little bit. Then another cooler burst of air coming through and southerly, southeasterly winds and showers building across the weekend, affecting most of the coast, in fact, from the Tweed down to Ballina, Byron, the same situation over the weekend. So be prepared for some wet weather Saturday and Sunday, easing a little bit as we move into next week, but a good chance of seeing some storm development throughout tomorrow. The swell, like to get up early, tell the missus I've got a meeting.